Yo, what up, everyone? How's everyone doing? We're back again with another video after ages. I'm so sorry. I know I was supposed to do a lot more videos. I said I would, just never really got the time. Um, but yeah, we're back with another video. I'll try to do this a lot more regular. I know I keep saying this all the time, but it's never really stuck. But I'm gonna try to do them at least on weekends. It's just that it gets very busy on the weekdays, and obviously I'm on Sad's channel. Big up Sad. Don't forget to like and subscribe to his channel, and obviously mine as well. So please. But yeah, we're back with another video. This time we're gonna be doing the match reaction. The draw reaction to the Champions League draw. Which was done yesterday. And let me first introduce my friend, my man, my fellow Gooner, my fellow Maghrebi, as Saad likes to say as well. Big up to my brother, Souls. How you doing, my man?
Glad to be here, man. It's been a while, so yeah, man. Excited to jump straight into it. How you been doing?
Nice. I'm good, bro. I'm good. It's obviously been busy, but you know, like footballing wise, it's been a pretty good year, man. So far since the start of the year for us, nothing much to complain about. Obviously, to the quarterfinal round now for the first time in what 14 years. It's
14
mad,
years,
bro.
yeah, crazy, man.
It's mad. A club this big should not be out of the quarterfinals of the Champions League for 14 years, even though we've never won it before. But like, it's just mental.
Yeah. It was. I don't know. For me, it was kind of cliche because I kind of didn't expect to be in the Champions League. If I'm honest with you, a couple of years ago, obviously when we finished 8th, and when obviously all the pundits and everyone else was saying that we were years away from challenging for top 4 or even getting into a Champions League spot, and now here we are 2 years later, a title challenging team in the Champions League with one of the younger squads in Europe. So yeah, man, look, I think club history you kind of have to take out because we don't really have any history in the Champions League in terms of winning it or going into the late rounds. But we have to base it off our current squad, and we do have the youngest team in the league. We do probably have the most inexperienced team in Europe as well, out of the teams that are still remaining. So it's a big job for the boys, man, but they've seemed to kind of take it on their stride so far.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think obviously if you go by where we were supposed to be like a couple of years ago, if you believe what Arteta and Edu and all was saying, we seemed like we were a bit ahead of schedule. Because I think when we challenged for the league last season, I don't think it was by design. I don't think even the manager and the players thought we were going to be challenging for the league. So it probably came in a bit early, which is amazing, obviously. For me, I don't think it came early because the fact is he joined in 2019 December. That season, the COVID season, like a lot of people would put that as a write-off, right? Because, you know, we didn't spend that much. Obviously, we didn't have the money. Like all teams were hit financially. But if you exclude that year, fair enough. We've done really well because, you know, he's come in, won the FA Cup in his first season. Then you exclude the COVID year, then he's finished 5th, and then he's finished 2nd. So fair enough. It looks like it's good progression. The fact is you cannot exclude that season though, right? So if you don't exclude that season, then we basically wasted a whole season where we did nothing and finished 8th and won obviously nothing as well. So it kind of sucks. So I think where we are right now is where we should have been if everything went according to plan. But yeah, man.
Yeah, no. But look. I don't know if this stream is about this topic, but I do have to kind of say that. Yeah, I do kind of have to say this. I disagree with that because I just think that when Arteta came in, he came into a really bad team. The teams with the Mustafis and the teams with a lot of players that were not fit to even ever challenge for a top 4, let alone anything below that. And he made do with what he did with the team that he had. And he came in, and the job of restructuring a team goes beyond just spending money. It goes into authority, making players respect you, making players play the way you want them to play, which, as you've seen with clubs like Man United and other teams, you can have the talent, the expensive players in the field, the £100 million strikers. If you don't get them playing how you want them to play with your identity, that becomes a really tough job. So Arteta has basically transformed, for me, not only the results and the team, but the entire club as a whole, because now they're playing for him, they're playing his way. We don't kind of sway from our style of play. We have an identity, we have Arteta way, and we have players. And when Arteta did sign his players, I'm not going to forget about all the fans that were saying poor recruitment. Who is Tomiyasu? Who is him? Who is that? Who is this? And who is Kiwior? And he's come in. He's bought on the eye players that are not supposed to be as good as they've been, and now Kiwior can look around and tell people Kiwior is a title challenging left back. When would you ever have said that in the last year, 2, 3, 4 years? So
Mad.
you have to give him props for what he's
I
done.
wouldn't have said that at the start of the season. Forget, let alone like a couple of years back.
Yeah, exactly. But again, I put a lot of this down to Arteta and the way he trains his players, and obviously he's got a very good coaching staff as well. But I just mean that the players that he has in his field now work for him, they play for him, and for me, he can get above expectations from players that maybe are not even ready for that kind of that kind of style yet. And also, he's not scared to drop players. If Zinchenko's leaking goals in defense, he'll drop him. He'll try Kiwior there. You know what I mean? If Havertz has a good 2 or 3 game run and Jesus comes back from injury, he won't put him straight back in because Havertz is playing well. So he's very good at kind of sticking to his guns, which sometimes can be a bit of an overkill and overconfidence. But listen, man, so far it's working. We're a title challenging team. Where, as I say, playing with the big boys, City and Liverpool, and we're up there with them, man. And look, the season may end in nothing, but as I said, we fought and we're up against some of the best teams in the world, some of the best teams in Europe, and yeah, man, can't complain.
Yeah. Look, I definitely can't complain. Like, I'd rather be where we are right now for sure. But yeah, look, I mean, we'll jump right into it then. I guess the Champions League draw. So I thought we'll start with. I want to start with the biggest fixture first, because as much as I want to discuss Arsenal, and we will obviously in a second, but I thought we'll start with the biggest one first, which is Real Madrid, Man City. The favorites and the holding champions, defending champions, Man City versus probably the best team in football history, 14 times winners, Real Madrid. A repeat of last year's semi-final. This time they face around earlier. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. When I saw the draw, obviously, like the Bayern Munich one, I saw that first, and I was like, I wish not Bayern Munich. We'll discuss that obviously later. But when I saw Real Madrid, Man City, I was ecstatic, bro. I cheered as if Arsenal just got Molde or I don't know, like some Copenhagen or whatever. I cheered really loud because if we are to win this, obviously, like I don't think we will, and we'll as I said, we'll go through that later when we're discussing our round. But the biggest threats to us are obviously like your Real Madrids, your Cities, or Bayern Munichs, and these teams. And the fact that one of them can get eliminated at this stage is, I think, obviously very good news for us. Plus, it's an exciting watch. If you're a neutral, of course, you're watching two very good teams, attacking teams that will play and go at each other. So, yeah, man, I want to hear your thoughts first. Like, what do you think about the tie? How do you think this one will go?
Yeah, man, look, I was excited and I was happy until I found out that we have to play them after whoever wins from that tie. So then I realized
Yeah,
it was kind of I was so excited, and then I was kind of, oh no, because look, it's a good tie. That's going to be a good tie. And I was the same as you. I really wanted them to play each other because in my opinion, those are the two best teams in the Champions League. And those are for me the two toughest teams to play in the Champions League that are still remaining.
yeah.
So it's good that we won't be able to play both of them. We're going to play one of them, and the good thing is we won't play any of them in the final. That's a guarantee if we ever get to it. But yeah, man, it's a good tie. It's going to be difficult, man. City again struggled in the Champions League over a long 3, 4, 5 year period. They had no experience in there. They were getting knocked out by some of the big boys that weren't performing as good as them domestically, but had more experience and heritage in that competition. So we're knocking City out in the quarters and semis. And City really struggled when they lost to Chelsea in the final. But again, they won it last season. They now know how to deal with that pressure. And for me personally, and I've watched a lot of Real Madrid this year, they are still the best team in the world, in my opinion, in terms of team quality, squad quality, manager, the players they have, the way their players play. In my opinion, they have the best team in the world. So I still think City will win it, but Real Madrid do have a lot of heritage in the Champions League, and If Real Madrid can be underdogs, they'll love that because they'll go there and show people what they're about, and they've done it. They've done it with Benzema. They've done it in the years where Ronaldo was there. So yeah, man, I feel like that's going to be an exciting time. I can't call it. I would say City will win it on paper, but again, on that day, who like obviously I know De Bruyne has got a groin injury now. Who knows how he's going to be feeling at that time? It's going to depend on a lot of factors.
Okay, we'll do like I think predictions towards the end of this video for all the ties, but yeah, man, look, it is going to be exciting. It is very close. I obviously Madrid are going to be looking for revenge from what happened last season. I think I don't remember the last time they were that humiliated in a tie. Like 4-0 was a mad score. 4-0 was just an incredible score. And it's crazy. You said underdogs. The funny thing is, can you imagine using the word underdogs with Real Madrid? Like it's just mad. And but I get what you mean. Like obviously on paper, they most likely would be underdogs because the City just seem to have better quality. Obviously, they're the treble champions last season, defending champions in the Champions League. And yeah, I know people will say that they have not been the same as they were last year. They've lost Gundogan, they've lost Mahrez, but I still think City is City, man. And Pep is, like, for me, the greatest manager of all time. So when they come to these kind of ties, I think he'll know how to handle these kind of games, even though they're not, they don't seem to be as strong as they were last season. What I do like, though, is that last season, I think you could clearly tell a difference between the two. I think City were like somewhere over here, Madrid were over here, and I think that gap is a bit closer now because of City getting weaker, but also because Real Madrid obviously got slightly better. Like obviously with the addition of Bellingham, I think they're just playing better football. Obviously this season, yes, they had Benzema last year, but I mean he played obviously against Man City in the second leg, and I think he didn't do it. He had a very bad game, and yeah, they've lost him. But Bellingham has been an amazing addition. They've got Militao and Courtois back at the right time because obviously both of them got injured at the start of the season, and I generally thought they'll be out for the whole season, but it seems like they'll hopefully get them back. I don't know. For me, given that the first fixture is in Man City, is in Madrid, I think that's a disadvantage for Madrid, right? Because I think they play a lot better when the second leg is at their home. They usually go to that first game, even if they lose, like they know they can come back at the Santiago Bernabeu. I mean, they literally did that 2 seasons ago when they won the Champions League. Every tie, the second leg wasn't their ground.
Yeah, and they can also, and I feel like it's always a disadvantage, regardless of which team it is, if you start if you start at home, because if you start away, you can go there, kind of weather the storm, play for a draw, or even try and get a 1 or 2-0 up, and then go back to your home ground and go for it. It's always the best kind of structure that way. So when you're playing at home first, you have to be cautious about not conceding and then being out the tie, but then being pragmatic and actually trying to score goals because you want to be ahead in the tie as well. So it's a lot harder playing at home first.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I don't know if you saw the thing they were saying yesterday. They're trying to see if they can change the fixture due to security reasons. Because the next day, Atletico Madrid play at their ground as well against Dortmund. And they're saying for security reasons, like having like back-to-back games in Madrid, I don't know, like whatever the issue is. So they're trying to see if they can change it and keep the first fixture in Man City, in basically in Manchester, and then the second one Madrid. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. If they do, if UEFA does change anything, it'll probably change Atletico Madrid's thing, because obviously, like City have a higher coefficient. They are the defending champions. I don't think they'll do something that puts them at an inconvenience, and City will not accept it either, right? So
I don't think that will happen. Again, City will have something to say about that.
Exactly.
Because obviously it puts them at a disadvantage.
Exactly. Yeah. Look, I think it's going to be close, man. I think it's going to be super close. I definitely don't think any team will get thrashed. I don't think Madrid will get thrashed like they did last season. I do see City being slight favorites just in terms of like the strength and stuff. But here's the thing, you know what? And I'm going to mention this at the prediction in the end. I have 2 predictions for this game, right? And the predictions will depend on what happens between City and Arsenal at the Etihad at the end of the month. Because I genuinely feel that if Arsenal beat City at the Etihad, or even get a point, because I think if City doesn't win, they're at a big disadvantage in terms of the league title. If City do not win at the Etihad, I think that'll affect them even in the Champions League. But if City beat us at the Etihad, I think that confidence will create that kind of momentum for them that they'll eventually go and do it in the Champions League as well. And we saw it with them last season, right? Like when they came to the Emirates, they beat us 3-1. We were top of the league by then. Um, and obviously, like we played at our home and they just beat us, and they went on a mad run after that. Yeah, they drew the next game to Nottingham Forest, but then they won every other game like after that, like in the Premier League and even in the Champions League. They dominated Bayern, dominated Madrid. So I think it can have a domino effect for them, but it'll depend a lot on what happens at the Etihad against Arsenal.
Yeah, look, I think the Etihad game against Arsenal is a different conversation. I said I'll be very surprised if we get anything out of that. Obviously, historically, for most teams, it is a guaranteed -3.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put your hopes on that one there. But what I would say is it will be tough. It will be a tough game, regardless. And City will go into it nervous because they know that Madrid are a better team this year. They know they're scoring more goals. They made additions in midfield.
Yeah.
They're not lacking legs in midfield like they used to do. Yeah, they haven't got the top strikers scoring loads and loads of goals, but they've got players that can harm them. And City know, because you've seen it in the past. With Madrid, you may be able to control possession against them. You may be able to not give them the ball for a long time. But with Madrid, if they get the ball and give it to one of their star players, they've got game changers in their team. Vinny's a game changer.
Yeah.
Bellingham's a game changer. They've got players that can harm them. So it's going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a difficult game. Ancelotti is going to definitely come back for revenge. I think they're a lot better this year, Madrid, than last year. A lot better. You see what they're doing in the league, and they think they've only lost one game this entire year in the league.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
they've lost. Yeah, they've lost one game in the entire.
I think
season.
they've lost 2. No, they've lost 2 games overall. I think they lost to Atletico Madrid, and then they lost another game. I can't remember which one. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure they've only lost one. I was seeing. I saw it the other day. Actually, they were talking about Madrid. Let me check. Yeah, I think
So
they've
they've
only
only
lost
lost
one.
1 in the league.
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
lost one in the league.
but
Yeah.
but did they not lose in the Copa del Rey, or am I bugging?
Oh yeah, all comps I don't really know, but I mean like domestically, they've only
Yeah,
lost
domestically
one
they've
this
only lost
season.
1 to Atletico Madrid. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and even that game was, as I said, it was a bit of a tight game. But listen, they've been unbelievable domestically. Even in the Champions League, they've been good. So it's exciting, man. It's exciting. I don't know who I
It
want to
is.
win because I don't know who I want to win because I don't know who I want to face.
Mm,
But again, that may depend on how we do at the Etihad.
yeah.
Because if we get thrashed at the Etihad, the Etihad, I definitely do not want to face.
Bro, we won't get thrashed at the Etihad. Come on, let's not do that.
If we do, I won't want to face them in the Champions League if we do beat Bayern.
You wouldn't want to face City.
Yeah.
I think regardless of what happens, sorry, not regardless. I think if we lose to City at the Etihad, I would much rather face them, because I don't think City will be able to beat us twice or thrice in a space of a month. One is because I mean, we've seen it historically. The last 5 times they got knocked out, 3 times were against English teams, right? And there were 3 different teams: Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham. And during the middle of the season, they beat them, right? But they still lost. Like that season when they got knocked out by Liverpool, they smashed them 5-0 at the Etihad, right? And when they lost to Liverpool at Anfield, they lost 4-3. So it wasn't like a thrashing or anything. It was a very close game. Yes, Liverpool were winning like 4-1 or 4-2 or something like that, and then City scored 2 in the end. But it was still quite close in the scoreline. Tottenham, same thing. They beat Tottenham in that season, and yet somehow got knocked out against them in the quarterfinals. So I feel if City beat us, that lesson that we have got from the Etihad, we'll be able to take it into the Champions League. And I feel like we'll have a better chance against City than we would against Real Madrid. So, but if we win, that's a different thing as well, because now they will be coming for revenge. They'll be a bit more prepared. But I still feel like we would be way better off facing City just because we're familiar with them. Bro, imagine if we play City in the semi-finals. We would have been facing them for the 5th and 6th time in the space of 1 year.
It's
so
crazy.
It's a team that you're familiar. Exactly, it's mad, but it's a team that you're familiar playing against. It's a team that you know where their strengths are. You know exactly how they play. They're not gonna City are not the team, and Pep Guardiola is not the kind of manager who's gonna come and play against you in a different style. He's not going to come
But
and
that
say,
but that works both ways. And what I
Mhm.
mean by that is, again, you're playing against a team. Okay, you're playing against a team that you know how they play, but they also know how you play, which can be a disadvantage
yeah,
as well. Because again, when you're
yeah,
playing against a team, you don't know how they play. Like for example, if we played Madrid, even, they don't know what we're like on the field. We can catch them off guard. We can give them a run for their money. We don't know. They don't know how to stop us yet. They haven't played us
but
yet.
I feel that's worse for us than for them. I feel that's worse for us that we don't know how Madrid play because
They're a
they
better team,
have
yeah.
that. They're a better team. They have that pedigree. They have the heritage. They play against different teams almost every season because they go far in Champions Leagues most of the time. We don't. So when we play against unknown factors, I think that's a bigger issue for us than it is for Real Madrid. That's why I feel like facing City might be a little bit better. But look, I said we'll do predictions towards the end. I think we'll just do them after each round. Makes sense because we already spoke about it. Look, I'm going to start with mine. As I said, it'll depend a lot on what happens between Arsenal and City at the Etihad, because I genuinely feel that'll have an impact on City in the Champions League as well. I think if we manage to win or get a draw against City at the Etihad, I think Real Madrid will go on to knock them because I think the confidence will be low, and Madrid already have massive impetus and massive a big motivation just based on what happened last season. But if City go on to beat us at the Etihad and go top of the league, or I mean, maybe not top because Liverpool will probably be top if they beat Brighton. But if City go on to beat us, I think they'll go on to win the league and they'll probably knock out Madrid as well. So that's my prediction. What's yours?
Yeah, I think that City will take it, and I think they'll take it pretty comfortably as well. I
Mm,
think I think they'll probably win 3-1 or 4-1 on aggregate because I just think that they have too much power, and they just have players that can nullify every single area of Madrid's team.
damn.
So
You-
I
You're really writing off Madrid, huh? Like that.
no, no,
4-1.
no, no, no. Honestly, because I just know what City can do. This is the thing. I know what City
Mm,
can do. So, and look, Madrid are good, and I hope Madrid do prove me wrong. But I
yeah.
think City. I think City. Look, my prediction. My prediction's always been that City go through Madrid comfortably, and City also win the Champions League as well. That's my prediction. And look, um, I do hope I'm wrong. And if they are going to be knocked out, if City are going to be knocked out, Madrid are the team that can do it. So it's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like, if they were facing Inter, if they were facing Atletico Madrid, or if they were facing a team like, again, I feel like City would easily and comfortably win. But this game is a game worth watching, and
Mm,
City can definitely lose. But yeah,
yeah.
I'm going City.
I will say this though, and like this will obviously segue us to the next thing of Bayern Munich and Arsenal. But I would say if we do get past Bayern, I still feel like facing City would be easier for us. I mean, when I say easier, it'll sound like, oh, they're easy. No, both fixtures will be incredibly difficult for us, and obviously we'll be underdogs in both fixtures. But I feel we would be better suited to cope with City versus we are with Real Madrid. Again, just because we know the styles and because we've played them many times. And the fact is, we played them twice this season. Yeah, people will say Community Shield shouldn't really count, but let's be honest, they played their best team and we played our best team. So it's not like they played a shit team then. Um, we've played them twice this season, and in both scenarios, we almost completely nullified them. Almost. Yeah, they had a Cole Palmer screamer, and then Foden had that one-on-one chance. But outside that, it was like we completely nullified their attack. So I feel we have a better chance. So if we do make it, I think Madrid will knock out Man City if we beat City at Etihad, as I mentioned. But if we do make it past Bayern, I do prefer playing City. So I'm gonna be, if we knock out Bayern, I'm gonna be rooting for City for sure because I feel like we'd have a better chance against them. But cool, man. Look, that like I said, it segues us to our next topic. The next big game of the round are mighty Gunners going up against Bayern Munich, six-time champions. Have been disappointing last couple of years in the Champions League, getting knocked out by, um, obviously getting smashed by City last season, getting knocked out by Villarreal the season before that, um, which was a bit of a shock. Uh, but yeah, man, look, it's I'm gonna start this by saying like to discuss this first. I want to discuss the Porto game first, right? Because I think that's a bit crucial. Because I was on Sad's stream yesterday, and we were obviously having, it was a very nice debate that was going on. But I genuinely believe that we played like shit against Porto, right? And some people will be like, yeah, but it's the Champions League. You cannot translate your league form to your Champions League form. I get it, 100%. I can't expect to go play against Porto and smash them 5-0, 6-0, have 75% possession like we do in the Premier League, or 70% or 65%. I get it, 100%. Porto have Champions League heritage. They play in the Champions League almost every season. I think last season Inter Milan struggled against them. Chelsea, when they won the Champions League, I think struggled against them. I think they won the first leg 2-0 and lost second leg at home 1-0. So I get it. Like, we shouldn't go and expect that we should smash Porto. Fair enough. But that's different from us saying we should play a lot better against Porto. Like, I expect us to have more possession, which we did, fair enough. But I also expect us to create more chances. I expect us to actually press them. Because the fact is, when we go up against these kind of teams, you have a better squad. You have a better starting 11, better resources. Like, we spend more money on our players. So that advantage you have of being a bigger and better team on paper, in my opinion, gets nullified if you don't play like you're the bigger team, right? If you don't press them, if you don't try to go like, okay, let's see who can outrun who, let's see who can like create more chances, taking those risky passes. The way we played against Porto, in my opinion, was very resemblant of the way we played in the Premier League in the first half of the season, where we were not that adventurous. We were very cautious in the way we attacked because we were so scared of getting countered. And that's why, for me, like, I feel like we played quite shit against Porto. Now, I don't think we will play as bad against Bayern Munich. Well, I say I don't think we will, but there's a very good chance we might, actually. So maybe that's just me being naive. But because Bayern Munich play an expansive game, because they play a proper attacking game, they don't sit back. They go press high up. They play with a high line. People say that should suit us more. Like, you logically think it should, yeah. But I think it'll only suit us against Bayern Munich if we end up playing a brave game, right? If we take the game to them. Especially the first game is at the Emirates. So they come to our ground. Bayern Munich is not going to come to our ground and shy away. They're going to come to our ground. They're going to try and dominate possession. They're going to try and attack. They're going to try and press. If we don't reciprocate that with the same level of intensity, pressing, playing passes through the middle, being super quick in the counter-attack, the moment we receive the ball, we don't slow it down. We immediately go and attack. I think we will struggle tremendously against Bayern Munich. So then Bayern Munich playing that attacking game will be of no advantage to us, right? I think it'll have zero advantage to us.
Yeah. Look, I think I'll touch on the Porto game firstly. Porto game, I think we played below par in comparison to how I think we can play. I'm in agreement with you that I don't think we were ever going to go there and translate our league form into that game. I think anyone that believes that is missing a screw. But what I would say is you have to look at the context of the game. Okay, we're the youngest team in the Champions League. We're going in there. We're playing against a team that is experienced in the dark arts of football, experience in time wasting, experience in keeping the ball, experience in dropping around and wasting time. From the second or third minute, they had their keeper falling to the floor on a goal kick. And again, they knew what they were doing. They were trying to frustrate Arsenal. And Arsenal did fall into that frustration a little bit. They lost their heads a little bit. We saw Declan Rice having an argument with a few of the players. We saw Ben White getting frustrated. So we fell into their trap a little bit, okay? And Porto are a very good team because they're good on the counter-attack and they have fast players. They haven't got world beaters or stars that can score from 20, 30 yards out, but they've got players that can run through you and can hit you on the counter. And look, Porto play a game very similar to how I expect Atletico Madrid to play or how I expect Inter Milan to play. And it's a tough game, actually. So I never ever thought it'd be an easy game. I thought we would win. I thought we'd play that when we play. I think we had to control possession better. We struggled out of the press a lot. We struggled out of the press a little bit, and that's usually our strength. They knew how to, basically they studied us, they knew how we play, and they tried to nullify us. And for a large part of the game, on both legs, they did nullify us. But I never saw a threat. I think we were always the predators and like trying to catch our prey, and they were just sitting back and waiting. And it was about, can we break them down? It honestly reminded me of a standard Premier League game against Newcastle, where they're sitting back, you have to try and break them down. Had that moment of magic with Odegaard, slotted through Trossard, the goal went in. As soon as Trossard scored that goal, he was in control. He was in control. It was never an end-to-end game. It was never a chance-to-chance game. It was just us going and going and going and going and going. I think, yeah, man. Look, I think Bayern's going to be a tough game, man. Bayern's going to be a
Yeah.
tough game. It's hard for any fan or player to sit here and say anything now because our history with Bayern Munich is absolutely disgusting. I know it's a different team, it's a different manager, it's a different squad, but we have to look at heritage in the Champions League, man, because it plays a big part. Experience plays a big part, and we have nowhere near. Like, if you judge this game on experience, it's men against boys.
Yeah.
If you judge on experience, you're talking about Thomas Muller, you're talking about Kimmich, you're talking about players that people only know these players because of the Champions League. These are what they're known for. Bayern Munich, they're Champions League giants. They've won 6 Champions Leagues. You know what I mean? So it is an absolutely this difficult game. It's going to be a very hard game. Now, the saving grace we have is a lot of their players are a lot older. A lot of their players are getting old. A lot of their players aren't what they were 2 or 3 years ago, like the Mullers and the Kimmich. But again, come on, they just have top quality players, man. Like players like Kim, players like Upamecano, players like Alfonso Davies. They've got world
Yeah.
class players. So our attack is going to have to be on top form because at the end of the day, those centre backs can pocket any of our attackers. Havertz,
Yeah.
Jesus, Saka can be very easily nullified now. We've seen teams know how to do it. Double up on him, leave him on the cut in. You can nullify his game. So look, I think we're massive, massive underdogs. I think people are basing our domestic form and their domestic form as to say that's the only saving grace we have, that we're playing better domestically. But I don't think that has any bearing on a Champions League game. I think there's other metrics you have to use to judge a Champions League game, and I think they win in every other metric. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a scary game, but it's a game I didn't want. I'll be honest, but I'm happy that we have now because now we have to prep for it, and we have to go back and get
Mm.
revenge for all the years of menace that they've given us.
Yeah, bro. I thought this was the second most. This is the second worst draw we could have got, like after Real Madrid.
Yeah,
Again, the reason I say I put them and Madrid ahead of City just because we're used to playing against City. Even though on paper City should be favorites to win the Champions League, fair enough. But I think when they face an English team, it's a bit different. So for me, this was the second worst draw we could have got. I'm not one of these people who prescribes to the thing of, yeah, give me the most difficult draw. I want to do it the hard way. Like, I don't care. If we win it, we win it. Like, that's all. So if you can give me the easier route and we win it, I'll be happier than, obviously, if we beat Bayern Munich and then we beat Madrid or City and then we win the final, of course, the joy is way more and you can brag about it a lot more, 100%. But if you can tell me that here's the easier round. I don't think there's anything easy in the Champions League, but the less difficult route to the final, and you could win it in the end because it's a one-off game. I would obviously rather take that. But look, we have them now. Obviously, we have to play them. I'm gonna say a couple of things. I said this again on Start Stream yesterday, and I need to like debunk this weird myth that some people have. Bayern Munich have not been shit in the league this season. They haven't been shit. I don't know where people are getting this
mm,
thing from. It's more on
yeah,
Leverkusen who have been that great. Leverkusen have 67 points from 25 games. 67 out of a total of 75 that they could have got. You know how mental that is? They're undefeated. 21 wins, 4 draws, 0 losses. And the biggest evidence to what I'm saying is Bayern Munich right now have 2 more points than their treble winning season 4 years ago in 2020. Imagine, in the same round. They have 5 more points than what they had last season. And people could say last season they weren't that great in the league. Fair enough. But if you look at their last 4 seasons, they are 2 points better off than the Champions League treble, than the treble winning season. They are 1 point behind 3 seasons ago and 2 points behind where they were 2 seasons ago. And 5 points better off than where they were last season. So for people to come and say, oh, they're shit this season, where is that evidence coming from? Just because Leverkusen are killing it doesn't mean Bayern Munich are crap. And like someone was
yeah,
mentioning that, oh, look who knocked them out in the DFB Pokal. Bro, they get knocked out at the DFB Pokal almost every couple of seasons. It's not a new thing. Last season, they got smashed 5-0 by Mönchengladbach. So it has nothing to
yeah,
do like their league. So even if you want to believe that the league form translates, their league form has not been bad, right? It's just that Leverkusen have just been that good. And whether you believe in the league form or not, it doesn't matter. As you've mentioned, and everyone knows this, your league form does not necessarily translate to your Champions League form. I don't think their league form is bad. I think their league form is good. But in the Champions League, they've been better than us, I think. They've had what,
Oh
like
yeah,
six?
yeah.
They've won like 6 games. I think they drew one and lost one. So
No,
it's
no, they've
not
been
like the
amazing.
end of the
And look,
world. Yeah.
and look, I agree with you. I think people are looking at Bayer Leverkusen's form, and because they're not a standout team, they're thinking, "Oh, Bayern have dropped off." But actually, Bayern have played pretty well. They're scoring a lot
Yeah.
of goals. They've got a striker that's on top forms. And look, they're a top
Probably the
quality
best in the
side,
world.
man. Yeah, probably the best in the world. And look, they're a top quality side. Like I don't know where this argument comes from actually, because people are looking for ways to convince themselves that we should beat Bayern. And if you're if you're looking for a reason to say we should beat Bayern, then that's not how you should judge the outlook of this game. It's we're going up against a
So then,
team that is.
based on that, Souls, let me ask you, because a lot of Arsenal fans, okay, there are some section of Arsenal fans who are just incredibly delusional. I'm not going to even bring that up, like where they say we should smash Bayern. Leave those. Those are people who clearly don't have any ball knowledge.
Mm.
But what about the other? What do you say about the other section of the Arsenal fans who think that we are probably favorites against Bayern Munich? Not just Arsenal fans. To be fair, I've seen a lot of videos last 2 days where rivals have us as favorites to go through. What do you think? Like, do you agree with that notion, or do you still think Bayern Munich are favorites against us?
I think that's absolutely rubbish. I genuinely think it's absolutely rubbish. I think it's just I don't even pay attention to clowns like that, because um you have to base these discussions on the reality and the context of a football game. Now, what people do is
Yeah.
these Arsenal fans that you're talking about, they only watch Arsenal football. Okay, so they
Yeah.
look at Arsenal and they're saying, "Oh, we beat West Ham 6-0, we beat this team 5-0," and they go, "Oh, we should go to Bayern and smash them," because I heard from my friend down at the chicken shop that Bayer Leverkusen the top. So this is
By
this
10
is
points.
yeah. So this is how they're basing their arguments, and this is how they're looking at
Yeah.
things. But the reality of football is that it doesn't work this way. The reality of football is Bayern have got more experience in the Champions League. They've got better players than us. They've got a better squad than us. They've got a better team than us. They've played better than us in the competition. They've got more heritage in the competition, and they are
A manager who's won
absolutely
it.
and they're absolutely clear favourites to beat us in the Champions League.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
agree.
mean we should? Does that mean we should go there and not play and we're going to lose? No, we're not going in there with the thought of losing. We're going in there with the thought of winning.
Yeah.
The players can do it. Correct, they can do it. And the players haven't faced a real tough team yet in the Champions League. Porto, in my opinion, were not a tough team. They didn't take it to us the way they should have. Raya had one save to make in the entire game. So we have to think about there's going to be a game where Raya will have to make a lot of saves. We'll have to have Raya on top form. We'll have to have our
Yeah.
passing on top form. We'll have to have Ben White on top form. We'll have to have Saka scoring his chances. We'll have to have Nelly back. So again, as I said, we can win. But the thought of we should go there and smash them, we're already at a disadvantage because we're playing home at first. We're playing home, which is first tie. So already you're at a disadvantage there, because already we have to go there. We have to try and protect our lead for the second leg, and then we got to try and score so we're up in the second leg. So we're doing two jobs in one. So look, man, it's going to be
You
a
know,
tough game.
I mean, yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Like, and for anyone like who's thinking like we're saying, oh, they're gonna kill us. Of course not. I don't think any team will smash the other. I don't think Bayern can smash us. This is not 5, 6, 7 years ago. We have a much better team, much better defense. Definitely a better squad. So I don't think, even if Bayern go through, I don't think they'll smash us. That's for sure. And we're not saying that. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, so I'm pretty sure we're not saying that we cannot go through. We definitely can go through, right? It's not like this Bayern team is invincible. I just find it funny when like a lot of fans, so I'm not going to say Arsenal fans, because as I said, a lot of rivals have been saying the same thing. When a lot of people are dismissing Bayern, they're like, oh, look, United went there and scored 3 goals at the Allianz Arena. Bro, like Bayern Munich were winning 4-1, and the 2 goals United scored were like set pieces towards the end. Like, let's not do that. Like, Bayern Munich missed like 3, 4, 5 sitters when they were like 4-1 up. So people come up with this weird notion. But and not to mention, they have a lot of players who have won the treble just a couple of years ago with them. Kimmich,
Yeah.
Coman, Alfonso Davis, Muller, Gnabry. And except for Muller, the other guys are not old. They're actually with a very good age. They're still probably at their peak. Yes, Neuer is obviously like, 37, 38 now. But then we've seen a lot of keepers who can keep at a very high level up to the age of 40. That experience that someone like Neuer has is obviously going to give them also like a big boost and advantage. People are laughing and saying, "Oh, Eric Dyer is starting for them." I don't think Eric Dyer is going to start against us. I'm not going to lie to you. They've got Kim Min Jae.
Eric Dyer's played well for them, man.
No, but
Mm.
whether he has or he hasn't, I don't think he'll start ahead of Upamecano and Kim Min Jae, because Kim Min Jae I think was injured, and I think he came back last game. They've got De Ligt, they've got Upamecano. So if they've got these four defenders, and let's say Tuchel decides to start with Eric Dyer, that means he probably thinks Eric Dyer is going to do a better job than these other guys. Maybe for that setup, who knows? Like it all depends. Um, I will say this regarding your point though. I actually believe playing the first game at home is better for us, right? Then it's playing the second game. And I'm usually I know it contradicts what I said an hour, or not an hour ago, but like 40 minutes ago, whenever I said that usually it's an advantage to play the second game at home 100%, because you play the extra time at home, you play the penalties at home 100%. But the reason for me why I think against Madrid or against Bayern Munich, it's an advantage for us to play the first game at home is because we are coming up against these two teams. Forget Madrid. Let's just talk about Bayern Munich right now. We're coming up against a team that plays a different style than any other team we've faced, right? When I'm used to playing teams like this, and I've seen us in the past go and play against some of these teams where they absolutely destroy us, right? Because the style is so different, it kind of shocks us, and we're not used to playing that kind of style. And I don't want us to lose that home advantage because of that. So I feel if we played Bayern Munich in the Allianz Arena in the first game, obviously we're going to have the away, like they obviously have the home advantage, but it'll also be that Bayern Munich are used to playing styles like us, right? We're not a new entity to Bayern Munich. They play teams like us almost every season, right? But we're not used to playing a team like Bayern Munich with the way they're going to play, the style they're going to play, the pressing they'll do. Yes, people can say you play against City, but again, it's a bit different. Each team, whether it's Barcelona or Bayern Munich or Madrid, have that different kind of style to them. So I feel if we played the first game at the Allianz Arena, I feel that occasion, the different style, the playing away would overwhelm us so much that I could see them smashing us. Not smashing us like 5-6-0. I mean like 3-0, 3-1, 4-1. And for me, that would put us at a massive disadvantage. Whereas when we play the first game at home, I feel that playing at home, especially since they are not allowed to have any of their fans in our stadium, I think because they're banned, I feel that our home advantage will compensate for the lack of for the shock we will get from playing a different style. And we will play that style, we'll get accustomed to it. The home advantage will hopefully compensate for the different style we're facing for the first time. Maybe we can get a
Yeah.
win. Even if it's a 2-1 win, by the way, I'll take it. So when we go to the Allianz Arena, the only issue we have is we're playing away. We're not playing against a team that we're not used to. Do you remember when we played Dortmund years ago? Right? And
Yeah,
that
yeah.
first game we played them, where this is in 2014, I think, with Klopp, and they overwhelmed us, bro. The first game, yes, it was at the Emirates. We lost 2-1. They came like crazy pressing. We just couldn't handle them. But when we played them the second time, we were a bit more used to the style. Now, yes, it's the second game was away from home that time, so you might say, but that goes against your thing. But I don't know. I just feel like this will come to our advantage playing the first
Yeah,
game at
look,
home.
look, I hear that argument, but look, I would still say that it's a disadvantage starting at home,
Mm.
because I just know how tight these games can be, and I know how important it
Yeah, yeah,
is when you're playing the first leg at home. You have to, like the Arsenal team have to think about going back home without the tie being over, because if Bayern score 2 or 3 goals, in my opinion, the tie's over. And
mm.
then you have to think about, you have to score a goal to be at a home advantage. And then you have to protect your lead back at the Etihad as well. Sorry, at the Allianz Arena. So look, it's tough, man. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be a tough game. But look, regardless, um, we're underdogs, and I keep saying this, but I have to say it. We have one of the youngest teams in Europe. We have one of the most experienced teams in Europe. A bunch of those players are playing their first Champions League tournament this year.
Yeah,
Lots of
yeah.
them. You know what I mean? Rice, Saka. A lot of these players are playing their first year this year. Martinelli. So these guys are just playing against the unknown now. Odegaard's obviously played for Real Madrid, but I don't think he made any appearances in the Champions League. Maybe like 1 or 2. But again, inexperienced team. We're going up against a big team, an experienced team. A team that have embarrassed us in recent years under Wenger, a team that have sent us home crying before. So we have to go there. We have to be stable. We have to be experienced. We have to understand how we're going to play. We have to nullify their players. We have to stop their main threats. They have a lot of good players. Musiala's top quality, been amazing this year.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Sane, again, Sane, if you make one defensive mistake, Sane will kill you with that pace.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
saw against Man United. And these players these Bayern players, they're not afraid to shoot. They will take a shot
Yeah,
from anywhere. And again, they have Goretzka who's playing well. I know Kimmich is injured at the moment. They have Lima playing amazing as well. Listen, they have a very good team. We have to stabilize them. I said on paper, they have a better team. They should go through.
100%.
Their fans will tell them that. Their club will tell them that. And I think everyone around us knows that that's probably the second hardest tie we could have got after City or Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So,
I just want to say, like, yo, Saad, why are you saying geez? I know it's been a long time that I've done, because I keep telling I'm gonna do something soon and I haven't done it. But big up Saad, guys. If whoever's watching this, please subscribe and like the Football Corner as well. Big up Saad.
Yeah, man,
yeah, bro. Look,
I've been seeing some of you guys' stuff. It's good, man.
Yeah. He's doing really well now. Look, man, I agree with you. I wanted to ask you, because I think we'll only do it in this segment since it's Arsenal, but what would be your preferred starting lineup? Assuming the current players who are fit right now are still available then. So no Timber, obviously.
Okay.
Do you want me to give mine first?
No, I'll go. So obviously, look, again, it's not going to be a massive change. I'll be honest with you, right? Because we have to go with what works. Don't fix what isn't broken. But I would go obviously Raya in goal, White at the back, Saliba, Gabriel. I'm just trying to think.
I mean, Kivior, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu.
Yeah. But here's the thing. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look at how their right hand side plays. Because Musiala is very dangerous, but he's not.
Leroy Sané will play there on the right wing.
Leroy Sané will play there. And again, you have to think about the way these players play, because these players do run at you. Yeah, I would probably say Kiwior. I'd start with Kiwior. I would start with Kiwior, unless you want to go with a very possession based tactic that game. Then you need Zinchenko to come into midfield and try and keep possession. But that will cause us to really be counted on. And if they counter, they've got a high chance of scoring. So I'd say Kiwior. So I'd say White, Saliba, Gabriel, Kiwior, Raya. I'd say Odegaard. I'd say Rice. And then I would say this is going to be controversial, because my heart is saying Jorginho, but my head is saying Havertz. But I would say I would say Havertz, and then Saka, and then Martinelli, and then Jesus. But that's me going attacking, and that's me needing Havertz on the long balls, because they will try and nullify our press. They will try and press us. They will try and not allow us to play out from the back. Raya will have to make a lot of long balls, so we'll need Havertz there in midfield to win those headers, to try and transition that ball to left and right. But again, I wouldn't. But again, it's that exact lineup, or you take away Havertz, put in Jorginho, and then play Jesus up front. But then I can't see a game where Havertz doesn't start against Bayern Munich. He's played with them.
Yeah.
He knows the team. A lot of them players there are German, so he knows a lot of his friends there. So Havertz needs to have a starting spot. So it's either Jesus doesn't play or Jorginho doesn't play.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think Havertz will start. Like for me, I would start the same backline. I don't know if I would start Kiwior, to be honest, man. Like I know he's done well, fair enough, but I still prefer Tomiyasu, because I feel like he defensively is as good as Kiwior, but I think he's better going forward. I think we might need we might need someone to make some of these forward runs, even though he's not going to overlap as much.
But Kiwior is more calm and collected, in my opinion. Tomiyasu can be very sporadic sometimes, and he can be very.
I don't know. I feel it's the opposite. I feel Tomiyasu is better on the ball than Kiwior. That's why when Tomiyasu was inverting for us earlier, he was doing it well.
But we saw the game against City where he was just drifting into midfield and losing his man on the wing, and he can be very sporadic. Kiwior is a natural centre back, so Kiwior knows how to stay in his position, and Kiwior knows how to keep it simple as well. And against Bayern, you need players that are not going to try and do the silly things. If they win that ball in midfield or on that right hand side, they have a high chance of scoring. So I think Kiwior.
Yeah, but if I would start Tomiyasu, I would not have him invert, because I don't think Bayern Munich is a team that you can invert against. And the evidence to that is when we played against City, when we played against Liverpool at home, we played with that kind of midfield, and none of our fullbacks were inverting, right? Because we knew the threat these guys have in the wings. And if we invert, Leroy Sané is going to have a field day, right? Yeah, I trust Gabriel on that left side, fair enough. But if he's coming up against Sané every single time, and whoever's going to play right back for them, whether it's Mazraoui or whoever they're going to play as right back, I don't think they'll play Kimmich there. Then that's going to be an issue for us. So I want to make sure that there's a fullback who can go do well one-on-one against Sané. And I just feel Kivior will get skinned against Sané. But hey, I mean, look, props to him. He's done really well last couple of games. I wouldn't want to change that much. So actually, because of my midfield, which you're going to see now, I probably would start Kivior, fair enough. You're right. Midfield, I'm going to start Thomas Partey. I wouldn't start. I don't know why we would start Havertz in the mid. Bro, Havertz in the mid would get killed. He'll get killed against Bayern Munich, right? I would agree with starting Havertz up top. I think Thomas Partey would have had enough games by then.
But then you're dropping Jesus then, and if you're
Yeah, I am.
But if you're talking about our game changers, Jesus is one of our best ones. Someone that can create something out of nothing. Someone that can take players on. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Havertz plays a very simple game and it's effective.
Yeah.
But you need a bit of magic in these games against these teams. And I just think if I want someone to try and skin Kim or someone to try and cut through and do a skill that maybe pulls them down or gives us a penalty, you need players that can make stuff happen in that area. And I don't see. It's so hard because I think it's an absolute disaster not to start Jesus. I think you have to start him, even if you start him and then put him on for Havertz. But then I can't see Arteta not starting Havertz.
For me, Souls, it depends honestly on like the form going up to that game, because we're gonna play City. Obviously, we're gonna play. I think whoever we're playing against after City. I think that'll tell me a lot who will start between Jesus and Havertz up front. Like if I go by right now, Jesus has come back from injury. Havertz has done well up front, to be fair, in almost every game. So the logic for me is still to start him. The reason I would start Thomas Partey, Rice, and Odegaard in the middle is because when we played against City at the Emirates, obviously Thomas Partey came off the bench. I feel having that double pivot of Partey and Rice, or Jorginho and Rice, as we did against Liverpool, that allows us to control the midfield against these kind of teams that like to have possession, that like to press, that like to do this thing. And I'm hoping by the time we face Bayern, which is April 7th or 8th or whenever it is, that Partey will be hopefully like more match fit. He will be more acquainted with like certain games. He would have started 1 or 2 games before that. Because let's be honest, like however good Jorginho has been for us, I think Partey is an upgrade. I think Partey is an upgrade in almost every department. If he's fit. So when we start that midfield, I trust Rice to be able to go up and down the pitch, right? And play that 8 role. Because he's done that 8 role. He's done it well a couple of times this season, especially against the big teams, especially against City and against Liverpool. And then up front, obviously, like Saka has to start on the right. Havertz up front, as things stand right now. And then Martinelli on the left. Now, if Jesus can come off over the next couple of games and play and score goals and perform well, I would definitely start Jesus because his Champions League form has been amazing this season. But up until then, like Havertz has not done anything to deserve to be dropped, which is why I would keep him up there. And look, the good thing is we'll have Trossard and Jesus coming off the bench, and that itself is a big impact. Like imagine Havertz is having a stinker and you bring on Jesus. Like that's a different kind of game, different kind of striker. It'll give a different kind of headache to Kim Min-jae and let's say Upamecano if they're starting, because now they have to mark a different kind of player who tries to dribble a lot and is very good at football.
No, I agree with you.
Third lineup.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I think our best midfield is Partey, Rice and Odegaard on paper. As I said, it's going to depend on the games that are coming up until that date. I don't think Partey's fully fit. I think fully fit, that's our best team. If Partey can get into form, have 2 or 3 games in the Premier League, I can't see it happening. I can't see a world where Partey starts in midfield for us on April 7th, because there's not enough games up until then for Partey to play and showcase that he can do a 90 minutes and that he's not going to make a mistake here and there. I think, look, going with what we think is going to happen is different to going with what I think Arteta is going to go with. Now I'm thinking about it. Now I'm thinking about it deeply. What Arteta will probably do, if I'm being honest with you, is he'll probably go Jorginho, Odegaard, Rice, and then Havertz, Martinelli if he's back, and
Saka.
That's what I think Arteta will go with.
If Martinelli is not available, I would start Jesus on the left, not Trossard.
Yes,
So for me,
yes,
like if
yes.
Martinelli is not available, 100% Jesus starts on the left. By the way, I just checked the fixtures. So we have City, then Luton at home. Partey has to start that game if he's there. Man City, Luton at home, and then Brighton away. So if Partey starts against Luton and he plays well, I would start him again against Brighton. And if he starts again against Brighton, he definitely can start against Bayern Munich then. So
But
which is why I'm saying
Jorginho will start against City, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. So the lineup should
Because
not change anybody.
Arteta trusts. The thing is, Arteta trusts Jorginho a lot now in these big games. This is why I think he's got a starting spot against Bayern, because he's experienced. He's played in the Champions League final. He's a ball collector. He knows how to distribute it forward. He's very calm and collected. So, look, even me now, I kind of trust Jorginho a little bit, because I feel a sense of comfort when he's in midfield for some weird reason.
I don't trust him more than Partey though. I still feel
But I
Partey
think
is a lot better.
no. But Partey is not as trusted as Jorginho. Partey is very sporadic. Partey is a better player. Partey is more progressive. Partey's got a better burst of pace. Partey's got a better passing range.
He's better defensively.
That's debatable. And better defensively. But Jorginho is better at controlling space around him, distributing balls left and right, being calm and collected, stopping the game, slowing the game down. Again, it's going to come down to, how does Arteta want to play? How does Arteta want to play? Do you want to slow the game down? Do you want to make it rough and dirty? Or do you want someone to... Because Partey on his day, when he's fully fit and progressive and breaking through lines and doing what he does best, he's one of the best DMs in the league. So, but again, I need to see at least 2 games. If he starts that Luton and Brighton game and he does 90 minutes and he's top quality, does what he does, then cool, maybe you could start him. But I don't see a world where he does start anyway. Because even if I want him to start, Arteta won't start him.
Bro, I generally feel Arteta would start him, because I think Arteta would have wanted that midfield of Partey, Rice, and Odegaard. It just never happened because of injuries. And now that we're coming to the crunch time, and I generally don't believe Partey is going to stay beyond the summer. I think he will leave this summer, which is why I feel like we will try to maximize on Partey while he's still here. Now that he's fully fit, because if we don't use him now, there's no point. Like, this is literally the business end of the season, end of March, April, May. It's the business end of the season. So if we can finally get our best midfield on the pitch, especially in these kind of games, I think Arteta will go for it. But again, only if Partey is fit and he's able to show that level against Luton and against Brighton, which is why I want to say. And he'll probably bring him off the bench against City as well. Whether we're winning or, well, definitely if we're winning, I think he'll bring him on. If we're losing, obviously it depends who's having a stinker. But cool. I'm going to ask you for predictions, Souls, now, so we can move, because we have already almost done an hour, so we could just quickly move to the last 2 games. I'm going to start with mine. For me, I hate predicting my team to not go through. But sadly, I am going to do that now. I think we'll give them one hell of a fight. I think we'll play really, really well. We'll take the game to them. I think we will surprise them. I don't know if we can surprise them, because I think they should respect us coming to the Emirates. I think we'll probably draw the first game. And then when we go to the Allianz Arena, we'll probably lose by a goal or 2. And Bayern Munich will go through. I don't have an exact score prediction, but I think we'll draw the first game, lose the second game. Bayern Munich goes through, unfortunately.
Yes. My prediction will be we will draw the first game, we'll lose the second game, and we'll ultimately get knocked out.
Yeah, same.
That's my honest prediction. I do hope I'm wrong. If we can go in and if we can go in and win the first game, then my prediction will be a lot different. If, as I said, the things we have is we're playing well, and I'll know more against the Etihad game. But as of now, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I will say if we win the first game against Bayern Munich, then definitely we have a decent chance of qualifying, because I can see us going to the Allianz Arena and making it very difficult for them defensively, and then hitting them on a counter. So let's hope. It all depends on the first game, but I don't see us winning that first game. So let's hope. Let's see. Look, we'll go to the last 2 games. I don't think we'll spend much time there, because we've already done an hour. But just quickly, PSG, Barcelona. Give me your thoughts. How do you see this game going, and what are your predictions are?
Difficult game to call. PSG are living off Mbappe. I think if they didn't have Mbappe, I'd say
they are.
I just think they're such a crap team. But I would probably say PSG take it. Just about. I think they've got something to prove. They'll be more hungry for it. They've got star quality up front. Mbappe's been on form, still firing. Look, the easy way to put it is they've got the best player in world football in their team. So I think they ultimately win that game. But Barcelona have been a bit disappointing this year, obviously off the back of winning the league last year. They've struggled to maintain that level of form. They brought in Cancelo. They brought in a few players that I think haven't kind of structured their team well. They've been below par, in my opinion, in the domestically. But again, I don't want to use that as an argument. I just think, again, heritage and history, Barcelona have more of that. Experience, both teams are quite inexperienced now because both teams haven't really played in the Champions League much. Barca's team do have like Cancelo. They have a lot of players who have played
Barca
in the
have
Champions
proper experience, bro.
Yeah, proper experienced players. But I mean, they have young players, younger players. Do you know what I mean? Players like Pedri, players that have the seasoned players. They've played a lot, but yeah, it's hard to call. I think it's two very similar level teams. But I would probably edge it to PSG if Mbappe can do what Mbappe does.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna obviously, it is gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be the most exciting game in terms of goals, because both teams, I don't think are the best defensively, but they're really good going forward. They're not really good going forward. I think they will play a proper attacking game that will expose both defenses. I want to see who's playing the first game at home. I think the first game is in PSG. It's in France, which is a massive disadvantage, I think, for PSG. Yeah, the first game is in France. Bro, honestly, I think Barcelona have the edge here over PSG. I just feel like the fact that they have so many experienced Champions League winners with Gundogan, with Lewandowski, Sergio Roberto, Ter Stegen. Like, these are players who have done it before. Christensen has won it with Chelsea as well. So and he was the starting centre back, I think, at the time. So it's not like they have shit players 100%. They have very, very good players. Obviously, they played against Napoli. Has not been that great this season. Fair enough. But I mean, they still, I think they outplayed them in that second leg. I was watching the game. I had both games on at the same time, and I was watching them play. They were the much better team. Cancelo has been fantastic, I think, for them. Araujo, I rate Araujo as one of the best young centre backs in the world. I think he's up there. So even the youngsters they have are quite talented. They're not normal quality youngsters. They're youngsters with crazy world-class potential, right? I don't know if Pedri and Frenkie de Jong, because I'm looking at their thing, because I remember they got injured. And I think Xavi said the injury seemed a bit serious. So, yeah, look, it says Frenkie de Jong is expected back mid-April. So he'll probably miss the first leg. And Pedri is expected back. Okay, so Pedri's late March, so he might make it back. I see Barcelona going through, man. I just feel like PSG are riding so much on Mbappe's form and Mbappe doing some things of magic, and I feel PSG will I think they'll probably do well in the first game. They might nick a 1-0 or 2-1 win, but I think coming back to the Camp Nou, it'll be a whole different ball game. Well, it's not really the Camp Nou now, is it? I think it's a different stadium they're playing at while they're renovating the Camp Nou, if I'm not wrong.
Correct.
But yeah, I see Barcelona going through, man. I definitely see Barcelona going through. I think their experience and the quality they have. Lamine Jamal, I wish he played for Morocco. Obviously, he decided to play for Spain, and rightly so, if he's brought up there. But
no, not rightly so. Actually, I don't agree with the rightly so argument. He should be playing for Morocco.
Why not?
Because he should be playing.
No,
for
come on.
Yeah,
I want him to play for Morocco too, bro. And let's be honest.
I'm not living that down, man. He went to the ops, man. He should have followed Hakimi.
Hey, Brahim Diaz is coming to us. Brahim Diaz is playing for us.
Coming to us, but I don't know why. I don't know who this guy thinks he is. I don't know if he thinks he's going to be the next Iniesta or anything. But he needs to calm down.
Bro, you realize he's a starter for Spain. Like, he is that good. He's going to be a starter for Spain for the next.
Nobody cares. Spain are crap. No one cares about Spain. Who do Spain have in their team?
What do you mean?
Listen, man, we beat.
Bro,
we beat
Spain,
Spain,
Morocco. It's a big difference. Like,
but it's not, because when it happened in the World Cup, we beat them.
Yeah, that's true. But let's say Morocco and Spain face each other in the next 5 World Cups. Do you think Morocco will knock them out every time?
But you can't say that. You can only base it off the last game they played. And the last game they
Think
played, they
about
couldn't do anything to us.
think about this, yeah. Like he's a youngster who obviously grew up in Spain. Like he has got Moroccan heritage. Obviously, his family is Moroccan. He's Moroccan, but he's probably thinking, I can definitely start in Morocco, but I'm already a starter at Spain as well. I have a better chance of winning the World Cup with Spain. I have a better chance, obviously, of winning major honors with Spain, including the Euros. Let's be honest, because Morocco are flopping in the AFCON, even though we were probably one of the favorites for this last tournament and we absolutely bottled it against South Africa.
Correct.
Um, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't go that harsh on him, man, because he's looking
Yeah,
out for
yeah,
his
look,
future. He
look.
has
Yeah, yeah,
massive
yeah,
future
look,
there.
look.
But the point is, he's a
Mm.
super talented youngster, bro. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that game against Napoli. Wow, wow.
yeah, yeah.
But
Look,
yeah,
look, look. Yeah, look. I don't really go too much into the hype because we've seen a lot of players that have come out of Barca that have meant to change the world and are still kind of not at that potential yet. We look at what's happening with Ansu Fati right now. So as I said, look, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go too deep into him. I wish him well, and he's a top player, and we'll see how he does for Spain.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, for me, like I'm just gonna go to prediction now. I think Barca will go through. I think they will lose the first game probably, and they'll win the second game by a decent margin, but like maybe 3-1 or something like that.
Mm,
I don't trust this PSG team. I know they have like revamped and changed a lot of things to suit Mbappe. They've obviously gotten rid of Messi and Neymar. Well, Neymar, I think Messi is the one who rejected the contract. They've gotten rid of Verratti, which is a bit shocking for me because Verratti up until last season was playing incredible. So I found that
yeah,
a bit
yeah.
surprising.
Mm.
So and yeah, they've got Ugarte and all these guys, Vitinha and stuff. But I don't know. I just don't think their team is good enough. And look, they were in a group where yes, it's a group of death, but everyone
Mm,
had them as favorites to top the group, and they couldn't top the group. They narrowly
mm,
made it second,
mm,
behind Dortmund of all teams.
mm,
So who
mm.
will we discuss next? Obviously, in the last fixture. But yeah, I don't think they're good enough. I think Barca is still better. And the fact that they have that experience and heritage, I think, will come into play as well. So yeah, Barca to go through for me. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say yeah. I'd say for me, I think PSG will edge it, and I think they will end up going through. I think they have Mbappe, they have Dembele, have a lot of top players that can hurt them going forward. I think Barcelona have
Mm.
been very suspect defensively this year, and yeah, man, I want PSG to go through. I hope PSG go through. I don't really like Barcelona. Never have, never
Really?
will.
Ah,
Um,
because of the
so yeah.
thrashings they gave us.
No, because yeah, we won't go into why I hate Barcelona. I think you could probably work it out
Fair, fair,
if
fair, fair,
you
fair, fair.
did the calculations. But yeah, man, I don't know. But bias aside, feelings aside, I think if Mbappe turns up the way I know he can, he is
Mm.
someone that can really hurt you, really hurt that Barcelona team. So
Yeah.
so yeah, man, it'll be a good early run in for Mbappe playing against the team that he's gonna have to play against next year, hopefully.
Yep. Yep. I hear you.
When he joins the
Cool.
club.
Last fixture. Last fixture. We've got
Do we
Dortmund,
have to
Atletico Madrid.
talk about this fixture?
No. Bro. I don't think.
this
Honestly, I don't think it's a bad fixture.
this
Yeah.
fixture is the most boring fixture. No one
No,
cares.
no. It's not. It's not, bro. Because Dortmund are a proper attacking team, and I don't think Atletico Madrid will sit back against a team like Dortmund. Because when they played Inter Milan, fair enough, that's a different thing. Or when they play like a Madrid or a City, I think Atletico Madrid will play a lot more defensive. I think when they play Dortmund, they're actually going to attack a lot more. And by the way, Atletico Madrid are not the same Atletico Madrid of 4 or 5 years ago. They don't play that kind of shit housery, dirty, defensive, low block football where we just play on the counter, long balls and stuff. They actually, if you watch that game against Inter Milan, bro, they played really well. That second half was like they played. Yes, Inter Milan came in the extra time and they had a couple of chances. Lautaro Martinez set up Marcus Thuram and Barella, and they both missed. But I thought
Mm.
Atletico Madrid played really well, bro. So I feel it's going to be a good fixture. I
Yeah.
think Dortmund are going to take the game to them, and I'm just going to go to predictions straight away. A lot of people are writing Dortmund off. I actually think Dortmund are going to go through. Like they were in the group of death. They topped their group. They couldn't beat PSG, fair enough, but they beat the other teams. I think they've always managed, even though they keep losing superstars. I mean, they lost Haaland 2 seasons ago. They lost Bellingham, obviously in the summer. But even though they keep losing stars, they still like find new ones. They've got Adeyemi, Marco Reus, obviously scored against PSV. I don't know. I quite like their team. I think they've been playing well. They've been disappointing in the Bundesliga. I feel they should have been challenging Leverkusen and Bayern, and they haven't been able to do that. But in the Champions League, they've looked good. And because of that, I genuinely feel they actually will knock out Atletico Madrid. I think Atletico Madrid will probably underestimate them, like a lot of fans are. And Dortmund at the Signal Iduna Park are a very, very difficult team to play against.
Yeah, look, I hope I hope Dortmund do go through. I said they've been disappointing this year. I don't like
Mm,
Atletico Madrid. I don't like the way they play football. I don't like their style of play. I don't like anything that
yeah.
club stands for, to be honest. But do I
Oh
think
my
they
God.
have the Do I think they have the quality to harm? Look, I think Atletico Madrid go through pretty comfortably, in my opinion, because I just think they're really good defensively. Again, they're experts in dark arts of football, the experts in the dark arts of the Champions League. They know how to waste time. They know how to frustrate you. They know how to outmuscle you. They're a very physical team. Atletico Madrid are a
Yeah.
very difficult team to play against. Actually, I really did not want to go up against Atletico Madrid
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
because I know how they can nullify our players, and they do this thing where they double up on the wingers, overload the midfield, rough you down. So yeah, man, I think Atletico Madrid will end up winning it pretty comfortably, in my opinion. I hope maybe if the pensioner Royce can do something, or maybe Jadon Sancho or something like that. But yeah, man, it's a game that I think I will definitely not be watching, but maybe I'll watch it on highlights and see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, look, both teams have players that can hurt you. Obviously, Griezmann has been in fantastic form this season. Morata as well has been scoring goals. They have Depay, who always comes off the bench and does damage. He came off the bench against Inter Milan and scored a nice goal. So they have definitely, like, both teams definitely have very good players that can hurt each other. But and I agree with you. I would have definitely preferred avoiding Atletico Madrid, but not because I think Atletico are a better team than Dortmund. Like I obviously would have rather preferred to play Dortmund, but that's only because of the matchup, only because of the style of play. Because I feel like Atletico can do what Porto did to us, but at a superior level, especially going
Yeah,
forward.
yeah,
Um, but I think when they face each other, I think Atletico is going to play quite an open game. I think this is a fixture where the second leg being at home makes a big difference, and the fact that the first game is in Madrid and the second game is in the Signal Iduna Park, I think that'll be a big advantage for Dortmund. If Dortmund draw the first game, if they just avoid defeat the way they did against PSV, I think second leg they will definitely win. I don't see Atletico Madrid winning that second leg. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a Dortmund draw in the first game and then a win in the second game, and they'll go through. But I'm assuming you're saying Atletico, right?
yeah. I just think with the experience that they have in the Champions League, they know how to
Yeah.
break teams. They're very physical. I think the Dortmund will struggle, and alongside their domestic form, I said I hope they do prove me wrong again. But yeah, I think Atletico will take that.
Yeah. Cool. There you go, guys. Thank you so much. We're gonna do obviously another video later when we get past the first leg, to do analysis on the first leg. As I said, apologies once again that I haven't done enough videos, but I will try to be a lot more regular, at least on a weekly basis. But there you have it. These are our predictions for the Champions League. Souls, thank you so much for. I
Thanks,
know
man.
obviously it's difficult to do this in Ramadan while we're both fasting, so it's always difficult. But hey, listen, it's part of the journey, I guess. Like it's good, like you spending your Ramadan doing something productive, which is nice. I don't know
Yeah,
why I'm saying like
man.
as if it's a very productive thing to do, but yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you
And
so
yes,
much.
as
Yeah,
Saad has mentioned, please like and subscribe, guys. Big up Football Corner. Make sure you like and subscribe to his channel as well. Big up Saad and big up the man them there. And you'll see me in a video with him very soon as well.
perfect. Thanks, guys, and thanks for the opportunity, Ashraf.
Absolutely, bro. We'll do this again soon.
Yeah.
Cool. Peace, guys. Take care.